Welcome to the Bible Gossip Podcast. I am your host, Katie Fellman. I am going to go book by book and chapter by chapter, verse by verse into the Bible. If you have never read the Bible before, now is a great time to join me. We are diving into Genesis, so let's go. Okay, so we are moving right along in Genesis. We are in chapter 9, and don't worry, we only have 41 more chapters to go. It's just wild how much information is in each of these chapters. So stick with me. Let's get through Genesis. This is chapter 9. So we're there's a lot. There's a lot in this one. So let's just dive in. Let's get going. Chapter 9, verse 1. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. You know, we've heard this many times so far. The fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth and upon every bird of the heavens, upon everything that creeps on the ground and all the fish of the sea. So I think this part kind of made me sad when I read it. I'm like, they just spent all this time in the ark taking care of all these animals, and now God's like, yeah, now they're going to be scared of you. So it's like, well, thanks. Into your hand they are delivered. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. So here is God's permission and God's saying, now you guys can be meat eaters. I didn't realize this reading and all the way up until now. I just assumed people were meat eaters. So I'm thinking until this point, they were probably more vegetarian based, vegan based. So, yeah, so he is giving them permission now to eat all the animals. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. However, there are restrictions. As I gave you the green plants, I give you everything. Verse 4. But you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is, its blood. So, reading this, I'm thinking, okay, well, what about people who eat really rare steak, like my husband? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, what is the significance of the blood? And blood symbolizes life, the life force that is within a creature. So to be respectful to the food that we are eating, it needs to be, this is so gross, but it needs to be properly drained. And we're not eating its blood. Now I'm thinking, okay, rare steak. So there isn't blood left. That red juice. This is so gross to talk about. Sorry, you guys. The things that we're seeing in steak isn't blood. That is I want to say, I looked into this. I should have written it down, but it's not. It's like the leftover juices and I don't even know. But it should be properly drained. But there are cultures and there are like really, fancy dishes like I think it's called black pudding and things like that where there is, let me see if I wrote any notes down on that because I was like, eesh. No, I did not because I didn't want to talk about it. It's nasty. So for me, I'm not much of a meat eater. So anyways, that's what we're talking about here. So to be respectful, God values life and he does not want us to be disrespectful to the food that we now have permission to eat. So as I gave you the green plants, I give you everything, but you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is its blood. And for your lifeblood, I will require a reckoning. From every beast, I will require it, and from man, from his fellow man, I will require a reckoning for the life of a man. Verse 6, whoever sheds the blood of a man, by man shall his blood be shed, for God made man in his own image. So this is God telling him, I take life very seriously. Life is, I don't know, it's sacred and he respects human life and no life can be taken without consequence, without accountability or justice. So I think he's telling them like your lives are sacred. You need to hold your life sacred. You need to be respectful to the animals that you are now eating. And if someone, you know, up until the flood, they were murdering each other. There was all kinds of discontent on the earth. And so now he's like, we're going to have like a justice system now. So we're going to hold people accountable who are murderous and awful. And let's focus on not taking each other's lives this second time around, huh? So we're at verse 7. And you be fruitful and multiply. Twice in this own chapter do we hear that. Increase greatly on the earth and multiply in it. Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, Behold, I establish my covenant with you and your offspring after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the livestock, and every beast of the earth with you, as many as came out of the ark. It is for every beast of the earth. Big covenant. I establish my covenant with you, that never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood, and never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth. That is pretty promising. Luckily, he does make this covenant because, as we know in past chapters, he says the heart of man is wicked and evil continually. And that is because we have so many obstacles in there's evil at play here on earth because this is where Satan gets to rule. So by by having him here with us, it makes life a little tricky. And so he's telling us, even though you guys are evil, even though you guys mess up constantly, I will not flood you out again. And God said, This is the sign of the covenant that I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you, for all future generations. I have set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the water shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on earth. God said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant that I have established between me and all flesh on this earth. And that is how we get the sign for the rainbow. And what the rainbow symbolizes is fantastic. Okay, so we've all seen a rainbow, and it's amazing because they're so rare. And it's also, they come after the storm, so it brings you that peace and like this promise that, wow, the storm is over, the sun is coming, God is merciful. His covenant still remains. He didn't flood us out, and he stopped. And here's our sign and our symbol that he is powerful yet merciful. So let's continue on. So that's really the end of the flood for us here. So far, who's to say? Like I said, this is my first time reading this book, so there might be more powerful waters on the way. But for now, this is where we're ending with the waters. We are moving on more with the story of Noah now, and verse 18 starts a new part of this chapter, and it's Noah's descendants. So in verse 18, the sons of Noah who went forth from the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from these the people of the whole earth were dispersed. Noah began to be a man of soil, and he planted a vineyard. He drank the wine and became drunk and laid uncovered in his tent. I'm just saying, like, who hasn't been there? Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. Then Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both of their shoulders, and walked backward and covered the nakedness of their father. Their faces were turned backward, and they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah woke from his wine and knew what his youngest had done to him, he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be to his brothers. He also said, Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. All the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. So a lot to unpack in just a couple verses here. We went from 18 to 28, and there are curses. Noah got drunk. He's a naked man in his tent, and shame for shame. So first, I'm reading this, and I'm thinking, Noah has been trapped on the ark with his family, with his wives, with his sons' wives for months. Does the man not deserve a glass of wine? Right? So Yikes. So, okay. So let's say he gets a little carried away. The wine is great. He's testing his own product and he's like, this stuff is great. So he gets a little drunk. And yes, getting drunk is a sin, but, but, but I just feel like, can we cut Noah a little slack? Just a little slack. So, but here's the problem is his son Ham. Okay. So Ham comes, who knows why he's nosing around with his dad? Maybe he just had to ask him a question. Who's to say? But he sees the state he's in and he decides, I'm going to go gossip about this instead of handling it respectfully, leaving my dad with his dignity. No, he's going to go, oh, guess what dad's doing? Oh, dad's not perfect. And the other part of this is Noah's asleep. There's like, and he's in his tent. So like, what are you doing poking around, bothering me? And I'm in my tent, and now you're gonna go and gossip about me. So that's the problem. Is Ham didn't act righteously. He didn't let his dad keep his dignity. He's like spreading rumors about, I mean, the rumors were true, but he goes around and he's gossiping about his dad. And so the other two boys are like, we're not going to treat dad this way. And so they respectfully cover him. They let him finish his nap. When he wakes up, no one knows for some reason. I don't know if the boys told him. I don't know. We weren't there, right? So the problem here is that this is the first time in the Bible we're seeing gossip spread and what happens when we are gossiping. Gossip definitely spreads discontent. It divides the family. It creates it breaks the family unity, right? So when we are a family and we talk shit on each other, it definitely divides the family. Guilt and shame are a big theme here as well, because before Adam and Eve ate the apple, they were naked in the garden, right? And they were naked and unashamed. And then they ate the apple, and now we have shame around nakedness. And so Ham is shaming Noah for being naked. But again, before Adam and Eve, being naked wasn't a problem. But I don't know. And I think the other part is he's shaming someone who has no way to defend himself. Noah at this point is asleep in his tent, and Ham is going around, gossiping about his state. And how can Noah defend himself? So when he does wake up, he is probably feeling so disrespected. And I think the curse might be a bit much, but he cursed Canaan. And, yeah, that's how he chose to handle that situation. Ham did not act accordingly, respectfully to his father, Noah, and he shamed him. And what Japheth and Shem did were very honorable. They acted in a way that they let Noah keep his dignity. And that is one thing that I'm seeing a lot of today is, and I'm sure we all see it when we open social media, and it's wonderful. And I don't want people to stop doing kind things. And I know that there's even more kind things happening, but the fact that there's so much recording going on while people are doing kind acts is wild to me. So like you see a lot like, oh, I'm gonna go give this homeless person $100. Oh, I'm gonna take this person out to dinner and or feed them or clothe them or donate something to them, and it's all being recorded. And so I just question, like, where are we preserving that person's dignity when we're doing things like that? I do. It's hard because it's also a little hypocritical. Like, I love seeing these positive acts going out into our world, and we're helping people, and we're clothing people, and we're giving, but does it necessarily need to be recorded every time? Are we validating our own good worth, and or are we using our good acts to gain something, and we're not gaining in the kingdom of God, we're gaining for our fellow humans. And that's it gets a little wishy-washy there, right? But I just think if we are, I think if we are out helping others, I would love to see a little more dignity in that. And that comes with like the respect and the compassion that we saw from Shem and Japheth, just covering their dad up. They're not looking. They're just like, okay, we know what the situation is. We're going to just handle it, and we're going to let him keep his dignity. I thought that was so wonderful. And I love the way that they respected their father, and they're looking at their brother like, come on, like, and the fact that Ham walked up, saw what was happening. He could have easily acted. He could have acted with compassion. He could have let his dad keep his dignity. And then later, like, Noah could have been like, hey, like, I'm sorry that I'm sorry you saw me naked, or I'm sorry that I was in that state, but I really appreciate, what you had done. Instead, Ham went, gossiped, and now his son Canaan is cursed. So also, we're seeing every act has a consequence. And my mom, growing up, my mom would say, good choices, good consequences, bad choices, bad consequences. And we're seeing that here. Like, every time you obey and you move with God, he's got you, and he's taking care of you. Every time you choose your own path, or you spread gossip, or you're choosing to act unrighteously or undignified, you know, curses are happening. Curses are flying left and right. So it's just sad to see it in a family, and especially, they're newly off the ark. They're restarting humanity. God made a promise never to flood us out again, but here it's just it, it's starting so quickly all over again. So, I'm sure we're gonna see some patterns of humanity repeating here again. So, anyways, that is chapter 9. Lots and lots and lots of things to take away from this chapter. So we are heading into chapter 10 next. So please come back and we'll go from there.